Hello and welcome to the Jakarta Globe exclusive. We are part of Universe Media Network, which includes BTV, Beritasatu, Investor Daily, and Jakarta Globe. At a time when global geopolitics are increasingly fragmented, marked by rising tensions in the Middle East, uncertainty in global energy markets, shifting economic alliances, the relationship between Indonesia and the Islamic Republic of Iran offers a compelling case of resilience, pragmatism, and strategic relevance. This time we are honored to be joined by His Excellency Muhammad Borujardi, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Islamic Republic of Iran to Indonesia. So, Assalamualaikum, Your Excellency.
Walaikum assalam.
Thank you so much for joining us in the Jakarta Globe exclusive. Global geopolitical tensions are absolutely escalating, especially in regions critical to oil and gas supply. How does Iran assesses this current risk to global energy stability, and what implication might this have for global economic growth?
Actually, we are, as you mentioned, we are in a very special situation and a very special era of the global tensions, and that's because the international responsibilities that must be being taken care by the big powers as well as the international organizations are not being done. You know, we believe that the responsibility of the international organizations like the United Nations, like the Security Council and others, is to keep the peace and security remain in the world, and also the big powers, their responsibility as the big power is to improve the peace and stability in the region. But we can see that the big powers, especially the United States, they are, escalating the tensions all over the world. And also the organizations like United Nations, like Security Council, they are not, I am sorry to say that they are not fulfilling their jobs to return the peace and stability in the regions that they already are in some tensions. Whenever they go, they escalate the tensions. We hope that they do their job. We hope that they take their own responsibilities to try to return the peace, security, and stability in the regions that they already have problems.
Mr. Ambassador, given Iran's central role in global energy markets, what steps that Iran taking to ensure continuity of supply and price stability amid rising geopolitical pressure?
To be calm and to be secured. You can see that in the very important region of Persian Gulf, Iran is trying to keep the Persian Gulf safe and secure, so that the energy that is passing from the Hormuz Strait and also from the Persian Gulf to Oman Sea to be secured, and that's what we are doing right now. You will witness that during the 12 days war that we had with the Zionist regime of Israel, we did our best to prevent the escalation of the tension in the region. Especially we prevented, because the Zionist regime of Israel, they wanted to take the tensions inside the Persian Gulf, but we prevented that. We tried to keep the security in the region. We are doing our best, but unfortunately, again, I can say that all the situation is not in our hands. There are some other hands from outside that they are trying to make some tensions in that market, and it will affect the global economy and all other countries' economy. That we hope that, as I mentioned, the big powers as well as the global international organization, they keep to do their responsibilities to return the stability and peace to that market as well.
Okay, Mr. Ambassador, how do you see that Indonesia and Iran, of course, will be working together to mitigate the impact of global energy volatility on developing economies? Do you see it's possible, and having a strong possibility?
Yeah, I have met with some Indonesian officials, and I have always told that we are ready to help in the President Prabowo's motto that at the beginning of his presidency, His Excellency Prabowo told that there are two priorities for his administration in Indonesia. First is the food security, and secondly, energy security. So we, as Iran, as one of the most important countries in the energy of the world, maybe I don't know what is the ranking right now, but I know that Iran is so important in that area. We just declared our readiness to help Indonesia in that regard. I believe that in the field of the energy security we can help.
Yeah.
And I hope that we can improve our cooperation with Indonesian government in that regard as well.
Okay, this one is the hottest information of international issues that Indonesia recently joined by the Trump-led Board of Peace, which the government described as a concrete alternative for resolving global conflicts. How does Iran view Indonesia's participation in this initiative? And does Tehran also believe that there are more effective solutions, particularly regarding the situation in Gaza right now?
I have told my ideas in that regard before several times. I believe that whatever Indonesia does is some internal and domestic decisions that is making by the government, and we are not going to comment on that. But for the Gaza in peace, you know what happened in Gaza? I tell you. In Gaza, some people killed the innocent people of Gaza. More than 70,000 people, mostly women and children, were killed in Gaza. Who killed them? You know that the Zionist regime of Israel. And who supported Israel? Everybody knows that the United States of America. So I believe that America is not a good judge and good player to take care of Gaza, peace in Gaza. Because of that, because we are suspected to their ideas, you know.
So let's shift into strategic bilateral between Iran with Indonesia. Iran and Indonesia, Mr. Ambassador, have maintained resilient relations despite global political pressures. What factors, in your view, make this partnership uniquely stable and mutual respectful?
Actually, the relation between Iran and Indonesia goes back to 1,000 years ago, several hundred years ago, and the good thing about this relation is Iran and Indonesia have had always very good relation, friendly relation. We did not have any political or cultural problem with each other because Iran and Indonesia know each other. People of Iran and Indonesia love each other, and the Indonesia after the independence of Indonesia, Iran was one of the first countries who recognized the independence of Indonesia, and this year is the 75th anniversary of the Iran-Indonesia diplomatic relation. You know, in this house,
beautiful house.
Almost 75 years that we are in this house. Before the revolution, it was the embassy, and now it's the residence of the ambassador. And for the most important regional and international issues that has happening, Iran and Indonesia, they have similar stand or close stand to each other, because both Iran and Indonesia oppose any kind of occupation, any kind of suppression, and any kind of attacking to the other countries. Both of them are seeking for the peace and stability in the regions, and as well as the global peace and stability. And we have very good relation with Indonesian government. I did my best to promote that cooperation with Iran and Indonesia, and just extend it in the field of the economic cooperation. But we are still trying. We hope that we can do that.
How does Iran view Indonesia's growing role in the global South and its entry to BRICS, Mr. Ambassador, in shaping future bilateral cooperations?
Yeah, I can see that Indonesia is a very important middle power in the region, in ASEAN, and also in BRICS and other regional organization in the world. And now I can see that with the economic growth that Indonesia is maintaining, it's going to be better and better in that situation. I am sure that Indonesia cooperation with the world and also Iran will help Indonesian people to have better life. And I am sure that Indonesia will have a very good position and very good ranking in the global economy in the coming years.
Mr. Ambassador, what opportunities do you see for Indonesia and Iran to collaborate more closely in multilateral platforms to address global economic fragmentations?
Yeah, there are many ways that we can boost our cooperation in the field of the economic cooperation between Iran and Indonesia. First of all, you know that Iran is one of the best in some new technologies in the world, like nanotechnology, biotechnology, nuclear technology, even healthcare technology, agricultural technology, and many other areas. In some areas that we have cooperation with Indonesia already, it happened. For example, in healthcare cooperation, we have a very good cooperation with Indonesian government as well as the companies. And also in the other fields, we are ready to help, we are ready to have the cooperation. For example, when we talk about the drones, everybody thinks about the war. But you know that there are several jobs that you can do by the drones, for example, in agriculture, in other fields. Or when we talk about the nuclear cooperation, first everybody thinks about the bomb. But you know, everybody knows that it is not limited to that area. We have many areas of the agriculture, healthcare, and others that we can have cooperation with each other in that area as well, especially the energy. Also in energy, both in the, oil and gas and other kinds of energy, we can have very good cooperation with each other.
So speaking of the cooperations, a few months back in November 2025, you met Indonesia's Deputy Defense Minister Doni Hermawan Tovanto. So the Indonesian government later reported that Iran offered defense equipment at what it described as competitive prices. Mr. Ambassador, can you elaborate on this cooperation, and is technology transfer part of the discussion?
Yeah, actually, this is not my only meeting in that regard with Indonesian officials. You know that I have met President Prabowo when he was in the position of the defense minister before his presidency. And I have met the Minister of Defense of Indonesia, His Excellency Shefri Shamsuddin, twice, and others. And I always tell them that we are ready to just transfer our domestic technologies. Our technology is not limited only to the defense. We can have cooperation in the civil situation in many areas. For example, the missiles that we make for defending ourselves, they also take some satellite to space as well. We can have very good cooperation in space with each other. So I can tell that we are ready to boost the cooperation in the field of the peaceful areas, and also we are ready to transfer our technology to our brother and friendly country of Indonesia.
So technology is not always about defense, right?
Yes.
Again. Okay, Mr. Ambassador, what are Iran's priorities in expanding investment or joint ventures in Indonesia, particularly again in energy, petrochemicals, or industrial downstreaming?
As I told before, I think the priorities are the same priority that President Bravo mentioned in his speech at the inauguration ceremony.
Yeah.
First of all, I think the priority is the field of the food security. We have a very, very good food companies, and we are ready to help, and we have talked to many food companies in Indonesia. We try to connect them with their own counterparts inside Iran, and we are ready to help in that area. And secondly, in the energy, both the oil and gas and also the clean energy, we are ready to help with Indonesia. And some companies right now they are negotiating with their counterparts in Indonesia.
Saksikan Jalan Dakwah
menemani Ramadan Anda setiap hari hanya di BTV,
bersatu menginspirasi.
Welcome back to the Jakarta Globe exclusive with His Excellency Muhammad Burujadi. Mr. Ambassador, before we continue about the biotechnology, science, and other technology cooperation with Indonesia, besides the misunderstanding from the global citizens, the framing or maybe the image of Iran. Now, Iran has faced nationwide protests and international scrutiny on human rights. Mr. Ambassador, how does your government respond to this concern from the international community that, showing their concern about the situation inside Iran?
Yeah, we respect any kind of human rights concern from all the organizations and all the countries, and it's the international opinion to be concerned about the human rights. But unfortunately, everybody knows that after 12 days war, that opposed to the Islamic Republic of Iran by the Zionist regime of Israel and with the support of the United States, they realized that Iran is not an easy country to be taken or to be toppled. So they changed their strategy. They imposed some kind of economic hardness to Iran, and they tried to depreciate the Iranian currency so that it made some kind of concern inside the society, especially inside the business people of Iran who were concerned. During a few weeks, the Iranian currency rial has depreciated a little bit, and after that, the business people tried to show their protest to the government that is respected in Iran democracy, in Iran constitution. Any kind of protest, any kind of demonstration is respected. And at that moment, government decided to just do whatever people want. At the second day of the protest, the president of the Central Bank of Iran has been changed. They changed him because government was trying to change the policies somehow to face the ordinary people and also business people concern. But unfortunately, at the first 10 days, it was okay.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we know that they have manipulated the protest to some kind of, aggressive and violent demonstrations. Unfortunately, after that, they tried to show it as manipulate it as a human rights disaster or something and go ahead with their agendas. We believe that it's very dangerous for the international norms that they are using the democracy, human rights, and some values like that as their political tools.
Mr. Ambassador, Iran has strong capabilities in biotechnology, nanotechnology, health innovation, and advanced engineering. How does Iran envision transferring or co-developing this technology with Indonesia in the future?
Yeah, you know that during the visit of late President of Iran, President Raisi, to Indonesia in 2023, we introduced our telesurgeon robot to the Indonesian government, and I am very happy to tell you that some of these telesurgeon robots are working in Indonesian hospitals right now. And when I talk to the authorities in the hospitals, they are so satisfied with the work. And because of the Indonesian climate and Indonesian, geographical system, that it is there are a lot of islands, so it's very important for Indonesia to help the remote and distant patients. So it helps a lot.
Mr. Ambassador, Indonesia and Iran have a long-standing relation, absolutely, which economic sectors still offer the greatest untapped potential today. So, speaking of which, of the tourism, it is very interesting too. Direct flights and tourism cooperation have been discussed. How important of these initiatives of deepening cultural understanding between our societies, Mr. Ambassador?
Speaking of the people-to-people cooperation and the connection, I can tell you that everybody knows that Iranian and Indonesian people love each other. It's very strange for me. Whenever I tell in Indonesia that I am from Iran, people respect me and show me that they like me. And that happens in Iran as well. If you go to Iran, and if you go to the ordinary people in the street that I'm from Indonesia, people respect you a lot. And you can see that it's really something that you can feel whenever you go, you are so respected by the people. In the field of the tourism, you know that there are many thousand people that come from Iran to Indonesia for tourism every year. And of course, from Indonesia to Iran, because of the situation, it's not that much. There are still some tourism, but it's not that much. We, at the beginning of my job in Indonesia, we defined some barriers in that area, like visa, like far distance, and like direct flight and others, the language, everything. And we tried to face these problems one by one. For example, for the visa, a few months after I came to Indonesia, we removed visa for Indonesian people who like to go to Iran 100%. They don't need electronic visa, they don't need upon arrival visa, they don't need airport visa. They just go to Iran without any kind of visa. They go inside Iran, they show their passport and go inside. We treat Indonesians just like Iranians. That's the first step. Right now, Indonesians who wants to go to Iran, they don't need any kind of visa. Secondly, for the direct flight, we are doing our best with the cooperation of government of Indonesia, especially the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Kemlu, as well as the Ministry of Transportation. We hope that we can just facilitate that and formalize that with the Indonesian government help. Inshallah, we are trying to have that. I request the Indonesian government to help us in that regard, to have the direct flight to Indonesia. No matter which company, no matter which country, even the Indonesian, flights can go to Iran, because there are a lot of, people. At least nowadays, there are maybe 10,000, maybe more than that, people that every year they come from Iran. So there is customer. We just seeking for the flight to be arranged. We can arrange that with the help of the Indonesian government, Indonesian companies, as well as the Iranian companies are ready to come to Indonesia.
Mr. Ambassador, if you were to outline the next chapter of Indonesia and Iran relations, what key pillars should define the strong partnership between our countries?
I think we must marinate the cooperation between Iran and Indonesia in the field of the economy. As I mentioned before, the cooperation between Iran and Indonesia in several areas is very good.
Yeah.
I don't say perfect, because we always have the space to go ahead,
Yeah.
So in the field of the culture, we are very good. You just mentioned about the futsal match. So we had the same situation with our brotherly Afghanistan, a few days ago. When our football team are playing with each other, the audiences, they still love each other. They don't fight each other. With Indonesia, it's the same situation. We hope that Indonesia wins for the championship. Of course, as an Iranian, I hope for my team as well. But actually, in the field of the culture, in the field of the politics, we have a very good relation with Indonesia. We both support the oppressed people of Palestine. We both countries have close or similar situation in the international important issues. Both countries are condemning any kind of war, any kind of attacking other countries, and both countries are trying to accelerate the peace and security in the regions and in the world. So that's really happens in the field of the human rights. We have similar, idea with each other, and it's very good. I am so happy and I appreciate the Indonesian government that always tries to stay at the right side of the history. I believe if we want to have a perfect cooperation with each other, we must just take this good cooperation in the economy as well. In the economy, I believe that it is not as good as we expect. So there are some barriers. I am ready to make the cooperation closer to Indonesian government, to just remove the barriers and make the economic cooperation to happen in a better situation.
So for that matter, what message would you like to convey to Indonesian policymakers, business players, and young people about Iran's long-term commitment to cooperation, Mr. Ambassador?
Yes, my message is, from Iranian side, I am confident and I assure you that Iranians are ready to cooperate, and cooperation with Iran will benefit you a lot. I told to some of the friends in Indonesia that many people are rich because of business cooperation with Iran. Why not Indonesians? We are ready to introduce the Indonesian companies to work with their counterparts inside Iran. And I assure you that there is no sanctions, international sanctions against Iran, and you can have the cooperation very, I don't say it's easy, but it's so beneficial. So we are ready to connect you to your content.
Your Excellency Mustiakaram, if I'm not saying it right, Mustiakaram, thank you so much for sharing your perspective with us about all the topics, all the sectors between the cooperation of our countries. So, all right, as the global order continues to evolve, conversation like this help illuminate at not only the challenges ahead, but also the opportunities for dialogue, cooperation, and mutual respect. That was His Excellency Muhammad Burjadi, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Islamic Republic of Iran to Indonesia, in an exclusive interview with Jakarta Globe, part of the Universe Media Network. I'm Iqbal Sweetami Haja. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Thank you very much. Terima kasih.